You're watching Cobox News with Sean Laverty.
This week on Cobox Technology News, the headlines are: Argentina is implementing electronic voting for national elections, but they will make it illegal to test the system for flaws. A lawsuit has been filed against Apple. Shocking, I know. Snapchat prepares to launch its IPO with a valuation of $25 billion. At least two tech billionaires are secretly funding scientists to break us out of what they believe is a simulated reality. A group of scientists working for MRC's molecular lab are growing a few hundred human brains from skin cells. Yes, that's right. Argentina not only want to implement electronic elections, as in you vote electronically for who you want to be the national president, but they also want to make it illegal for anyone to be able to test the system for flaws. So, of course, electronic voting is always something that is going to be kind of hard to implement because electronics are, bound to be hacked. It's much easier to fix electronic voting than it would be to fix a national election that's overseen in ballot boxes. A group called Access Now has provided the background to this. The original was in Spanish. It says the ruling party in Argentina is driving the adoption of an electronic voting system for national elections. Despite stern warnings from computer security experts about the dangers of the system, the ruling party is persisting with the project and plans to put it to a vote in Congress in the coming weeks. Another lawsuit has been filed against Apple this week, this time by a French company. It has to do with the browsing engines that are supported on its smartphones. Apple uses Safari, which is allowed to use its own engine. It says here, although Apple allows rival browser apps such as Google Chrome on the iPhone, they all have to use Apple's web rendering engine. That means that the ability to draw on the latest web standards is limited to whatever Apple decides to include. The French company in question has stated that they hope that this lawsuit will help Apple to sooner support the latest web and HTML5 standards on its iOS platform, the operating system used by iPhones. The French company in question is Nexedi, and they also explain the more kind of granular details of how the technology works in their paper that they put forward for the lawsuit. Other news in this week is Snap Inc., the company formerly known as Snapchat, like the app. Snap Inc. owns the Snapchat app, prepares to launch its IPO with a valuation of $25 billion. $25 billion, a lot of money there. They're just preparing for it, they haven't launched or anything like that yet. They're aiming to launch their IPO in March. The Wall Street Journal has reported. Apparently, they expect to get $366 million in ad revenue next year, which of course is a lot of money, but is it worth $25 billion when you consider, yes, Facebook has lasted a long time, but the companies prior to that, Bebo, MySpace, things like that, I'm not really sure. They had an okay lifespan, but when you're talking about $25 billion and you're only getting $360 million total ad revenue in a year, it's going to take you a long time before you make back that $25 billion. So, if you're making $1 billion a year, which they're not, they say that they expect to make $935 million the following year, which would be 2018. That would still take them 25 years or more to bring back the price of this. So can you really expect a company or an app like Snapchat to stay popular for 25 years? The question of that, absolutely not, no way. There will be something newer by someone different, and there will be a migration of people, just like people that left MySpace and people and went to Facebook. There will be other ones, obviously, that don't take off, so good luck to them, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with the IPO, considering what happened with Facebook when they launched. People were saying that they were massively overvalued, but Facebook do make a lot of money, so who knows with that. Really, another really interesting headline this week is that the two tech billionaires that are secretly funding scientists who are trying to break us out of what they believe this life is a simulated reality, like Matrix style. They think that we live in a Matrix style world, a computer world, and they're trying to fund scientists to find out how we can break out of it. Apparently, it's believed by people such as Elon Musk. I have a lot of respect for him with his cars and his SpaceX program and stuff like that, but I don't know. This one is kind of strange. But then it goes on to say that the Bank of America also kind of believe that this is possible. By the way, I should say that it says two unnamed billionaires are funding scientists. I'm not saying Elon Musk and the Bank of America are funding them. They've just stated that they believe that it's possible. It says at least two of Silicon Valley's tech billionaires are pouring money into efforts to break humans out of this simulation that they believe that we are living in. Philosophers have been concerned for some time about the reality that we live in and how we can know that it's a simulation, because if there was rules around this simulation, which there would have to be for it to be simulated, then we wouldn't be able to think that we were in a simulation, really. So it's kind of catch-22 with that one. But of course, technology is expanding. It's ever becoming more intelligent, and we're creating artificial intelligence, which is certainly becoming more and more interesting. Perhaps about to reach a dangerous level where it can think for itself. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in the next probably 10 or 15 years. There's going to be some absolutely brilliant technological advancements when it comes to AI, nanotechnology and stuff like that. Can't wait to see what's going to happen with all of that. So when I was talking about Elon Musk, he spoke publicly about this theory, and he states that he believes that the chance that we are not living in a computer simulation is 1 in billions. So, I mean, I don't know how he comes up with that estimation, but he's certainly an influential individual in the technology industry and one to be reckoned with. So, we'll see what he has to say about that. Last headline that I spoke about, this group of scientists that are working for MRC's molecular lab in Cambridge, growing a few hundred brains from skin cells. The woman concerned is a Madeline Lancaster, and she says that these sort of brains that they're growing are about 6 or 7 months old, and they're about 4 millimeters in measurement. And this project that she has, she works in a lab which is a £212 million lab building, full of kind of space age looking equipment and glass fronted laboratories. Would be interesting to see just how they go about their daily work. Basically they're transforming human skin into brains. In place of the brains being in a sort of a womb, or the brain would grow in a womb inside a baby, but basically they put in giant incubators. They don't have a blood supply, but they are fed with a nutrient-rich fluid which is refreshed every few days. They don't have an immune system. There's no other part of the body there to protect these brains. So basically, everything that comes into contact with them is just constantly having to be disinfected, basically with pure alcohol. And these brains, you start off with a cell of some kind. It doesn't have to be a skin cell. It can be nose, a liver, toenail, just any kind of human cell. They've taken theirs from donated skin. I'm not really sure how they got people to donate skin to them, or I don't know how that works. So basically, the stem cells are able to develop into all the body's tissues. So you need You need to turn your cell into whatever it is that you want it to become. So the team in charge of this basically have used something they call a cellular youth serum, which is a protein kind of mixture which rewinds the clock back and turns the cell back into an embryonic-like state. Before it became anything else, it was just simply a cell. And from there, the cells grow, and they basically they scrape the cells off of this petri dish, and you mould into a ball. It's actually kind of crazy that you can do that. I'm not really sure why they're trying to grow brains or what they're going to do. If they reach a level of maturity, I have no idea what the actual idea behind growing these brains are. I don't know if it's just to see if they can do it. I don't know if you grow a brain, would it develop a consciousness? Like, could you, theoretically, if brain surgery was possible, could you take a dead brain out of a body and put one of these in? And if all the other thousands of variables clicked into place, like it was accepted by the body and all that kind of stuff, what would the person be like that, the kind of consciousness that was in that brain that takes over that body? What would that be like? That'd be something to think about. Pretty crazy. So anyway, that really wraps up this week's Cobox technology news, and I'll see you next time.